Okay, guys, let's have a seat. Let everyone sit down. All right. First of all, welcome. Are you guys excited for this? Let's go. So, the themes I'm going to cover today, the biggest one is going to be time. I'm going to show you how to value your fucking time because, to be honest, most people value it, but they don't value it properly. If we value our time properly, we're going to get change quickly. We're going to transform our lives. We're going to live the life of our dreams, and you're going to have a mindset that's cast rather than a mindset that is literally a disability. So today we're going to talk about time. Let's start off with, and we're going to escalate from there. Now, the big thing I want you to understand today is that in order to make the most out of your life, you have to value time. That is the biggest trait you find in the most successful people. I've worked with people who have a net worth of over $1 billion, with people who have a net worth of maybe a few thousand. I can tell you the biggest difference is one values time, one doesn't. One values their time, one doesn't. If you find someone who is lower in confidence, they will value money over time. Someone who has a lot of money values time over money. So what does that look like? Well, someone who may not have the same amount of confidence, especially when it comes to making money, for instance, might say, oh, that's not worth it. Right? You have this experience where you just want to crush it. You want to go on vacation, you want to buy a new car, you want to experience something. Value time, but values money, lower level of confidence, right? They're going to think to themselves, well, yeah, it's not worth it. But they don't realize they're not going to get that time back to go do that thing. You can always make more money, and write this down because this is a common theme. You can always make more money. We cannot get more time. That is going to be the number one foundation of today's talk. We can always make money, not going to get more time. The opportunities you miss between today and a year from now are not going to come back to you. You might have other opportunities, but these specific opportunities will not come back. Now, I also want you to think about this concept. Whatever amount of money you have, whether you're making millions a year or you're just starting off, ask yourself, is there a way to make more in less time? So today, what I want to show you by the end of today is I want to show you how to become extremely productive. Oh, there's a Sharpie here. So imagine it's a chart. This is time. And this is productivity or effectiveness. Okay, I can't read handwriting. It's productivity. I'm pretty sure I can't read it, but that's what I wrote, okay? So most people look like this. Very little productivity, quite a bit of time. Very successful people look like this. I want to change this mindset into this mindset. That has been the number one thing since I've been in fucking kindergarten. How can I do more with less time? I'll give you a simple example. I shared this yesterday. In high school, I would go to math class, for instance, and I'd be like, hey, you do the first half of the homework, I'll do the second half. You do the second half of the homework, I'll do the first half, and I wouldn't do the homework, I would just copy them and let everyone else do it for me. Now people are like, what? That's crazy. That's so smart. I should have done that. Well, have your kids do it, right? Now, the biggest thing, I also would never study for tests. Instead, I would just say, I'm going to show up for class. I'm going to pay attention in class. I'm going to ask questions in class. This is pretty much a class, right? And I'm going to learn as much as I can so when I come home, I don't hate my life. So I want to give you guys the freedom today, the tools, and the mindset to be able to enjoy life at the level you deserve, not at the level you believe you can get. I'm going to repeat that. I want to show you how to enjoy life the way you want to enjoy life, not the way you were programmed to believe you can enjoy life. In other words, you could do whatever you want, whenever you want, with whoever you want. By the end of today, I'm going to give you the tools necessary to not only reprogram your own mind, but to connect with other people, tap into a level of happiness you probably have never experienced before. Maybe you have experienced, but we want more of, and actually live life on your terms productively without wasting the most valuable resource on the planet, which is time. which leads me to the beginning of this seminar. Now, we're going to talk about connection. Everyone say it. What are we talking about? Connection. Believe it or not, connection is the key to happiness. How many of us think about the most amazing memories in our life and go, it was when I made the most money, or when I bought a new car, or when I bought a new house? That might be a cool accomplishment, but I can guarantee you that those memories and those thoughts, when you think about the most incredible moments where you're like, okay, when I'm about to die, this is definitely going to be a moment that I'm going to remember. Was it alone? How many of you have that alone? You have some moments like that alone? Really? Okay. Well, we're going to change that. Odds are you probably haven't had a paradigm where you're with other people, because I promise you being alone is less satisfying than being with people that you love and you connect with. Now, what I'm saying is I'll clarify what I just said so everyone understands. If you think about your life and you're like, okay, what are the best memories I've ever had? Like your moments were the most happy. I guarantee you are not alone. If anyone here is willing to dispute that, I'm willing to take on that challenge. But I promise you weren't alone. There's nobody here who can think about the best memories in their life and say they were absolutely alone. If that was the case, then you're probably operating from an emotion of scarcity. And that is a fact, an emotion where it's me against the world. If you have that, you're not going to cooperate. You need to have a collaborative frame where you cooperate with the people you meet, versus a antagonistic frame where it's always me against everybody else. At the end of the day, the money you want to make is in someone else's pocket. The connections you want to bear are with others. The relationships you want to enjoy are going to be with other people. So if we can't connect to others, that also tells me you probably can't connect to yourself. And if you can't connect to yourself, it's probably because you either have lower confidence or there's a lot of anger and hurt that you have not resolved. So the first thing we're going to do is work on connection. Why? At least from my own personal experience, and I am willing to bet anybody listening to this and watching this, doesn't matter where you are from in the world, I can tell you, if everyone here in the world, but no one to share it with or no one to spend it with, would you want it? Dan, if you'd want it? No. You'd want it? I don't think you'd want it. You just probably never had any money. That's why you raised your fucking hand. So that's the truth. I'm telling you, you guys have no fucking idea how much happiness comes. It's in our fucking DNA from connection. And if you can't get connection down, you're not going to get your network down. Your network is your net worth. The reason I have what I have, I've created what I've created, and I do what I do, it's because I've mastered the ability to connect with other people. Whether it's in an audience, whether it's on-one, whether it's an environment I've never been in before, with the highest net worth people I've ever been around, I still attract all of them into my life, and I connect with them. How do I do it? Well, I'm going to show you today. A big theme today is how to increase our productivity in a short amount of time. And the way, so we need 100% participation. So the way to increase our productivity in a short amount of time is through connection. So today I'm going to show you how to connect to others. Whether you want to connect to them or not, it is absolutely important. Your communication skills are important. Your ability to talk to others is important. Your ability to experience your own emotions. If I can't even connect to myself, how am I going to know what I'm feeling? And we know that emotion drives all behavior. Emotion puts things in motion. Exactly. So if emotion puts things in motion and I can't feel my emotion, I have no fucking control of where I'm headed. And who here would get into a car or a plane that you had no control over? You'd get into a car or a plane you had no control over? What? Randomly, I don't know what cars you get in, but I'm not joining you there. I'm saying if you got into a car or a plane, you had no control of where it's going, you're telling me you're going to get on the first bus you see, you have no idea where the bus is going, you're going to hop on that bus? You're going on an adventure? I don't know. Listen, if you want to take control of your life, that's fine. You don't, do that. Call it an adventure. Okay? But for the most part, everyone except for him in the room agree that you're not going to get into a fucking bus, a car, or a plane that you have no idea where it's headed, all right? And that's the fact. Similarly, if you're not in control of your emotions, someone has put a destination into your brain, and that destination is not necessarily where you want to end up. So if you look at your bank account's not what you want. If you look at relationships with your friends, your intimate relationships, your love life, your business connections, it's not where you want it. You look at your body and you're like, why can't I ever get the six-pack I'm looking for? Why can't I build the muscle I want? Why am I not looking or feeling the way I want to feel? It's because there's something in your head, some program that we need to change, right? You're not in control of your emotions. You're not aware of your emotions, and that's the first step to changing them. So we have to become connected to ourselves. And once you're connected to yourself, You'll have empathy. You'll be able to connect with others. You'll understand what they're feeling. You'll know what they're doing, and you'll actually be able to identify what needs to happen inside of you internally in order to make a shift. Do we follow? Say yes.
Yes.
So I want to do an exercise with you right now, which is going to create a lot of connection in the room. It's going to be a little bit uncomfortable. It's going to be a little bit awkward. But if we stay in our little comfort zone, you're not going to make any change, right? Because your comfort zone is drawing from the past, and the past is not where change happens. Change happens in the now. So when does change happen?
Now.
So we need to come to the now, the present, and we need to connect. When you are really present, you're connecting. If you're doing this exercise wrong, this is what's going to happen. You're going to think to yourself, what are they thinking about me? What are others thinking about me? Is this weird? Oh my God, this is gay. This is weird. Like, you guys are going to have all these stupid thoughts up in your head. It means you're not present. And it means if you're not present, you're less confident. Confidence equates to being in the moment here right now. If you are 100% focused, if you are 100% happens, let's leave the past programming in the past. Let's rewire the GPS. Let's set a brand new goal, a brand new intention, and let's make sure every single one of us gets there within a year from now. Last year when we did Summit in Miami, not the one in March, but the one from last year, I've had 5 people who are not millionaires in that seminar there come to me and tell me, because of your talk, because of what you did with me in hypnosis during that seminar, I'm now a millionaire. And they literally have given me the testimonials for it. Now, I'm going to do something today, later on in this talk, that is even more transformational than what I've done there. And it's going to be for every single one of you. But it starts with this exercise here. If you guys can go all in and you pay attention, I promise you, I'm going to teach you things in ways you've never learned them before. I'm going to teach you how to connect with people. I'm going to teach you how to reprogram your unconscious mind, how to change your state, and how to actually connect to your emotions. Because the biggest thing that has stopped me, and I'll give you guys a quick example, I could not connect to my feelings. You can't, you're going to be in stress. You're going to just not, you're going to lash out. You're going to be very reactive environment rather than being proactive. I don't want anybody here to be reactive. When you're reactive, you have no control over your outcome. Reason being, we can't control the things in the environment. Therefore, if I'm reacting to what's happening in the environment, I'm just running off a set of patterns. So whatever was handed to me by my parents, by my programming, is all that's going to be controlling my outcomes. When you can take a second, think, process, and decide, that's when you take control of the future you are destined to create. So this is what the exercise entails. You're going to find a partner. You're going to stare them in the eyes. I prefer a partner you didn't come here with. I prefer it be a complete stranger. The more random the person is, the better it's going to be for you and your results. Now, what you're going to do is you're just going to stand there. You're going to breathe through your nose. Hopefully everyone does that so no one else is uncomfortable, okay? We don't need people going, you're like, I'm going to throw up. I'm going to fucking throw up, okay? We don't know if you guys brush your teeth. You've been here all day. I don't know. I just don't want anyone to be uncomfortable. Some people have sensitive noses. Some people have bad breath. So we're going to breathe through our nose if you can. If you can't, try not to think about it and find someone who still can't smell, okay? Now, don't overthink it. Find a partner, okay? Not yet. We're going to find a partner, and I'm going to walk you through this step by step. The purpose of this is to connect. It's to really what the other person you're talking to feels. I'm going to walk you guys through it. It's a very, very guided exercise. Do not break eye contact. Try and match their breathing. Try and breathe with them exactly how they breathe. Don't go. Try and breathe from the belly, slow breaths. Everyone do it with me. You guys can breathe out at the same time. That'll fix the breath issue. If you guys both breathe out at the exact same time, you go. And if you do it at the same time, no one's going to be smelling anything, okay? So we'll be good there. So what I want you guys to do now is find a partner, and you're going to do this standing up. Don't need to move chairs around or anything like that. All we got to do is find a partner, preferably someone you do not know, and you're going to make eye contact with them. I will walk you through the rest as soon as we do that. So 30 seconds to find a partner. contact. Who does not have a partner? Raise your hand. There we go. Buddy system. Who else does not have a partner? Who needs a partner? If you need a partner, raise your hand right now or you're going to miss out. Okay. So we're going to start like this. Take a deep breath. Ibrahim, can you play it? Thank you. Now, do not look at me. I'm not here. The only person here right now is your partners. Ibrahim, can you play it? Thank you. Take another deep breath for me. Now, as you stare into this person's eyes, I want you to really, really pay attention. I want you to start to focus on the fact that this person is not just the person that you met here. This person is going to help you over the next several minutes. This person is going to help you connect to yourself and connect to them. Most people think that when you look at somebody else, sometimes you need to laugh. Sometimes you might feel it's awkward. That's just you getting in your head because you don't know how to deal with this. Right now, be present. Focus on the other person. Don't be in your head. Stop letting your mind race and just let your thoughts relax. Any thoughts that pop up, tell your mind to literally shut the fuck up. Whatever pops up in your mind, tell your mind right now to shut the fuck up. Be present. The mind likes to make noise. This is the noise that stops you from getting to where you want to go. This is the noise that distracts you. Looking into this person's eyes, as soon as the mind calms, start to match their breath. Go ahead and take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale slowly. Match their breathing. Only focus on their eyes. You could see their chest breathing from their eyes. I want you now to really focus on this person and ask yourself this question. What have they been through? You look at smiles, you look at lines in their face, you look at all these emotions on the surface, but what has this person gone through? What have they gone through? What have they experienced? Now realize everyone here has gone through some kind of suffering, some kind of pain. If you just walked in, find a partner, make eye contact. Now, as you look at them, I want you to think about the things you've gone through. Think about the most painful experience in your life. And I want you to notice both of you experience the same exact emotions. Try and connect to them through looking at the other person. Try and see the pain they've gone through. Notice how their breathing changes. You might get emotional while doing this. That's absolutely okay. Do not hide your emotions. Let them come out. Do not filter anything. Now, as you look at them, I want you to stare at their eyes and ask yourself, what if this was my family? What if this was my best friend? You may not know them. You don't know all the horrible things they've done. You don't know all the amazing things they've done. But you do know one thing, and that is another human being you are looking to. You are looking into their eyes and you see another human being. Now, you might think about all the insecurities you have, all the fears you have. Realize that the person you're looking at has their own insecurities, their own fears, their own uncomfort. But I want you for a moment to let go of anything society told you. They told you can't connect to someone quickly, you cannot love someone quickly. I want you for a moment to try and experience love for this person. If this person's life depended on it, could you save their life? Would you save their life? No words are being spoken, but yet you can connect to someone just by looking at them. Now, as you look into their soul, I want you to ask yourself another question. Would this person save my life? And does it even matter? Does it even matter if they would? If the answer to that is yes, you're coming from a place of conditional love. You're coming from a place of conditions, of scarcity. That is unfulfilling. I want you to tap into a moment here where you can unconditionally love someone, accept them for who they are. Doesn't matter what they think, what problems they have. Just look them in the eyes and feel the love for them. Just connect to them. If this was your younger brother, your older sister, your father, your friend, your best friend, how would you feel towards them? Can you feel this towards a stranger? It says more about yourself. You can feel this about someone else than it does about them. If you can connect to this person and feel for this person, you are on another level, and that is the point here. I want you now, because this might have been difficult, I want you to let go of any thoughts you're thinking of. Just pause. Don't let any thoughts come up, and just stare at this person. Be in the room. Notice your feet on the ground as you look into their eyes. Notice the color of their eyes. Notice how their pupils are, how often they blink. Now look at them. Now as you look into this person's eyes, I want you to try and see their pain. Really, what did they come here to change? What did they come here to fix? Do they have a lot of pain or not? Is this a happy person? Are you a happy person? Now instead of hiding anything from them, don't try and put on a mask. Don't try and pretend to be something that you want everyone else to see you as. I want you now to let go of your mask. Because the only way to connect with someone is to let go of the walls that are in front of you. When you have a wall up, yeah, you cannot get out, but no one else can get in. So now take your wall out and let them see who you are for real. Just this person here. Let them see who you are. Be vulnerable for a moment. Some of you haven't been vulnerable in a long time. Now notice this person's not here to hurt you. They're not here to judge you. They're not here to harm you. They're here to help you. And you are here to help them. You're here for them because that's the key. Human beings are not here to just make money. They're not here to just go fuck around. They're here to connect. And if you can actually connect to another human being, if you can connect into their soul, that's when you start to find true happiness. Now, I don't know what you're going through in life, and I don't know what your partner is going through, but I do know one thing. Right now, you have the opportunity to let go of all your worries, all your fears, all your insecurities, and really connect to this person. Just trust them. Trust them for the remainder of this exercise. Trust yourself to let go of any problems or fear you might be experiencing. And look at them. This is what life is about. Life is about connection. When you can do this, when you can let go of the mask that you wear, when you can stop walking around scared, this is when you actually start to succeed. Because this is who you are. And it's okay to be vulnerable. At some point in your life, something happened to you where you got hurt. And you decided that you can't trust somebody, that you have to put on a mask, you have to put on a show, you have to pretend to be something that you are not, because you're scared that people won't like you for who you are. Well, right now, let's scrap that. What if we could have people like us for who we are? What if we could attract the right people into our lives? So go ahead and give your partner a hug, have a seat. All right, guys, let's have a seat. Now, show of hands really quick. Guys, show of hands really quick. If you just walked in, guys, please come have a seat over here. Middle or right. Guys, please quickly come have a seat. We got to move on. So those of you at the door, this is the chat fest. If you're going to chat, go outside. If you're not coming, come have a seat. Right now, thank you. How many of us feel a lot more connected to our partners? Now be honest with yourselves, put your hands down. How many of us barely said a couple words to the person we just did that with beforehand? Kind of funny, isn't it? Right? And this is a big thing I want to bring up. You don't know who the other person is. You didn't say a word to them. You have no idea who they are. You have no idea how much money they make. You have no idea how much money they're going to make. You have no idea who they're going to become or who they might not become. But what you do know is that all that doesn't matter, right? There's this primal self, which is this distinct version of, right? Run our mammalian brain, our lizard brain, where we're like, it's all about status. It's all about material. And then there's this version of us, which I truly think makes human beings unique. I think human beings are very intelligent, and the problem is a lot of people use that intelligence for the bad. If we can use that intelligence for the good, all of a sudden you can connect to people, right? So when we can disconnect from the material and we can connect to the person for themselves, who here feels truly a little bit happier and just in general better? Look at that. Every single hand in the room went up. Now, why I bring this up with you is because if you think of the moment where you almost fell in love, how many of us have fallen in love or almost fallen in love? You did this. Think about the moments you remember with your family or your friends that were the most incredible. You did this. And it wasn't the words that came out of your mouth. It was knowing that they were receiving you for you. They were receiving you for you. They accepted you for who you are, not who you're going to become, not who you pretended to be, but for yourself. The hardest thing for me, and I'm going to be really vulnerable with you all, the hardest thing for me, and this is why I became Marcel Klein, this is why I became this version of me, was people did not accept me for who I was. So at first, I tried to please everybody, and I wanted to please that person and that person and that person. And were they ever pleased? Fuck no. When I stopped caring about what other people thought, and I started to direct all of that towards myself, what makes me happy? What pleases me? What do I enjoy? Everyone that didn't connect with me, I cut off, and everyone who did, I brought closer. And the same friends I brought closer in that time period are still my friends today. They're my best friends. And I've attracted people into my life that like me for me, right? Not my money, not what I've accomplished, not my following, not the fact that I'm a public speaker, but they like me for me. When I see somebody, I see two things. This is where I think I have an extreme advantage over almost any other coach in the world. Most people look at people for where they're at, and they look at people for what's on the surface. I have this crazy ability to penetrate what's on the surface and see someone for who they really are. And the reason I can do that is because when you see me, doesn't matter if you see me in this environment, you see me with my best friends, you see me in a relationship, you see me on video, this is me. Some people like me for me, some people don't like me for me. But I want everybody here to start embodying this level of vulnerability because that's how you connect, right? I'm from Los Angeles, and when you go around in LA, people are going to be like, hey, yeah, I have, how many followers you got? How many things? As soon as someone says that to me, I'll give you an example. I was at a party a week and a half ago, and I walk in, and everyone there has millions of followers. They all have all this clout, you know, whatever. And it was Justin Bieber's old mansion. I've been there 1,000 times. And you walk in there, and they start talking about, hey, how many followers you got? And I just start laughing. I'm like, and I always bring this up. I say, listen, if both of you had 0 followers, what would you talk about? You didn't have any money, any cars, any fame, didn't look good. What would you talk about? Excuse me? No. Excuse me. Excuse me. What would you talk about? Your value doesn't come from what's out here. So the big theme in everything I teach is everything you want to create out here starts from what you create in here. A lot of people have this misconception that once I have money, once I have this, once I have that, my stress will disappear, my needs will be met, I'm going to be happy. Not true. What will make you truly want to feel a certain way? It's feeling it now. The only thing we really ever have is right now. So I did this exercise for 2 reasons. One, I wanted to bring the room closer to each other. I wanted to connect with you guys more. And I wanted you guys to know what it's like to be vulnerable. This is not an environment where we have to pretend to be something we're not. This is an environment where we came here to improve, to become our best selves. So the first reason was so we could all come together and understand that we are a community. We are all here to get better, and that is the intention of this seminar. This seminar is to make every single person here have a transformation. I know how hard it is for some of you. I know some of you are going through probably the toughest times in life, and all the answers from. And others, you just enjoy getting better, you enjoy improvement, and that's why you're here. Doesn't matter where you're at in your life. The reason we all came here today is because we want to have a transformation. We want to go to the next level, and that's what I'll help you do. The second reason I wanted you guys to come here today and literally understand this one concept and do this one exercise is because this version of you is the version of you that's going to have people fucking falling in love with you. This version of you is going to have people literally in line to work with you. This is the version of you that is going to make you extremely popular amongst every single person you meet. Because instead of attracting the wrong people into your life that like you for some bullshit mask, you're going to attract people into your life that like you for you. Now, maybe in your life you grew up with people who didn't like you, who judged you, who bullied you. Those mothers, they're not get to be part of your family or community. And when you start to do it for yourself, they're all going to miss out. You know how many people that I used to, and you may not believe me here, but I used to be extremely bullied. I was the most bullied person in my school, and I didn't give a fuck. I didn't care what everyone else said. I had no fucking friends. I had 2 friends. And even one of those friends, when everyone around me would start to pick on me, they would join because they were just followers. Only one person backed me up. Only one person was my friend. That is my best friend today. And this person not only is in my life today, but be in my life until I die, like my family. And everyone else who bullied me, they come to my seminars, they try to work with me, they try to get me to hire them. Funny how things changed, huh? Now, I look at that, and I'm not judging them. I've evolved. I don't need to go down to that level. I was never that person, and I don't mean to point at you. I don't mean to go down to that level, right? I was never that person. I will never be that person. However, I don't know what you're going through. I don't know if you just got out of a breakup, if right now is the worst financial situation of your life, if you've found out some bad news health-wise, if someone passed away recently, or you're just extremely stressed, or maybe you're on a downward spiral, or maybe everything's fucking going great and you want to go to the next level. I have no idea where you're at. But I do know this. We have a room full of human beings, each having their own unique experiences, and every single person here universally is going to benefit from today's talk, because I'm going to fucking make sure that no matter where you're at in life, I'm going to give you tools to go to the next level. So we fucking ready? Yeah. Are we ready? Yeah. So what I like to do in my seminars is I like people peak fucking state. How many of us know what that is? Raise your hand. Woo. Everyone knows what it is. So everyone stand up. Stand up. Let's get in a peak state. Let's start the seminar off with a fucking bang. Let's learn how to change our fucking lives. So I'm going to count to 3. When I do, we all know what to do. Yes? Yes! 1, 2, 3, let's go! Woo! Wait. Hey. We can do way better than that. Way better than that. Half the room is asleep. What the fuck is going on? Guys, is that a level 10? Fuck no. No. So what are we about to do? We're about to go to level 10? Yes. Are we ready? Say yes. 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 1, 2, 3, let's go. Let's fucking go. Woo. Fuck yeah. Yeah! Woo! All right, let's have a seat. Good fucking shit. Let's go, baby. Ready? Are we feeling good? Let's get fucking excited. So, let's go. There are 3 things that control our state. We all know what it is. What are they? Focus, physiology, self-talk. I'm not going to review this right now. You can find this a million places on YouTube. But for those of you who are hearing this for the first time, there are 3 things that control our emotions. Our focus, what we pay attention to. Our physiology, how our body is, and our self-talk. How many of you right now, feeling yourself and in a peak state, are feeling more confident now than you ever have? Raise your hand. That's the formula, okay? If you're not feeling more confident than you ever have, you're getting in your own fucking way by just saying no. No, I'm not. What do you mean? You're fucking confident, you're not feeling more confident? That's retarded and impeding your progress. Every time that comes out of my mouth, we got to correct it. So, okay. So I'm going to ask again. How many of us are at a level 10 out of 10 in confidence? Raise your hand. Thank you. If you tell yourself you're not, are you going to be there? No. 3 things: focus, physiology, self-talk. If I take my focus and my self-talk and I say I'm not there, what am I doing in my state? I'm killing my state. Take a sip of water. So, good job. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I want to cover rapport. So, talk about communication. Communication is key. And the reason it's key is I don't care where you're at financially. You could turn your financial situation around in 48 hours or less if you put yourself in the right room, around the right people, and use the right tools. So step one here is this. If I can find someone with a ton of money, invest, and I go up to him and I connect to him, truly, as a human being, I'm connected, I'm drawing him in, right? And I get him to invest in whatever it is I'm offering. Can I make money overnight? Yes. Even if I have no money. Paradigm. I want you guys to get out of the small paradigm and think big. Thinking is this. I'm going to make millions of dollars in the next 6 months. What needs to happen? If I can't make it directly, who has that kind of capital? How much do I need to borrow from someone in order to make that kind of capital? What do I need to invest in? If I don't know what it is, can I use my networking and communication skills to find someone who's good at making money, find someone who has the money, bring them together, put myself in the deal, and then all of a sudden make money? Absolutely. I'm going to give you guys tools right now to connect with people and communicate with people. But we have to understand how this works. So the majority of our communication, and initially I used to teach this from an NLP perspective. I have since then found friends who are the leading experts in the world in this stuff, and it's a little bit different. So majority, and it's not like a specific percentage, but we'll just say over 50% of our body language, of our communication. So we'll just say 50% plus is our body language, which is pretty crazy to think, right? That the majority of our actual communication is our body language. Now, you think about that, and I want you to go back to that exercise that we did a few minutes ago, where you made eye contact with somebody, and you said how many words? But yet, you felt the connection, right? So there's something there. Now, I can tell you, once you start to open up and you start to connect, you'll create even more rapport. But the truth of the matter is, how you carry yourself physically, where I am here, right? If I walk around, I'm like, okay, guys, so this is the majority of communication. You're gonna be like, fuck, I'm so chill up on stage. You see how I am with my hands? It's a lot more captivating. Like, if I just go, it draws you in, everyone literally turn their head. Whoever wasn't looking, just turn their head, right? And listen how I said the word. It draws you in, right? You're paying attention. Focus on me, right? All of this, is it congruent or incongruent? It's congruent. So your body language is the majority of your communication. And if I am saying I'm happy and I look like I'm happy, no one's gonna fucking listen, right? I'm fine. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. You know? I'd be like, shut the fuck up. Of course you're not, right? So what people look for when you're talking to someone, anyone here ever talk to someone and get this bad gut feeling and go, I don't trust them? Okay. And then you have someone where you look at them and you're like, holy crap, I really connect to them. What's the difference? Well, there's a part of your brain, your mammalian brain, right, that's identifying things at the unconscious level, right? It's called your subcommunication. Our subcommunication is identifying and looking up for physical signals in body language. So if someone goes, hi, how are you? You don't like the smile. What if it's a genuine smile? Can we tell? Yeah, you can even tell on an Instagram picture. Can you tell if a smile is genuine? Now, why is this important? Well, for instance, smiling, one of the many, many different pieces of body language that we like to communicate, we're actually one of the only animals that when we smile are telling someone else a signal. And what's a signal we're sending? Well, if you look at other animals, tigers, chimpanzees, gorillas, baboons, what do their teeth do? What are they doing when they show their teeth? They're threatening you, right? It's a threat. Our teeth, not very sharp, not very dangerous. What are our teeth showing anybody? Friendly. Hey, it's a signal. I'm not here to harm you. Now, what happens when we smile to someone else? What is the immediate inclination? They smile back. Their brain is sending you a signal. I'm also not here to harm you. But now someone smiles and the smile's off. You don't know why the smile's off, but it seems off. What's happening? Your brain is going, that is nuclear signal, is incongruent. right? They didn't say anything, but something's incongruent. Now, you might have a conversation with someone. I had a business meeting about 3 weeks ago where someone was pitching me on an idea. One of the most charismatic people I've ever met, but I couldn't pinpoint, and I'm an expert in this stuff. I could not pinpoint what was off. I just intuitively did not feel right about what they were saying because something was incongruent. I couldn't tell you what it was. I still to this day cannot tell you what it is, but something was incongruent in their body language. In other words, communicate from the heart. You communicate truthfully. Be congruent. A lot of people are passive aggressive, for instance, or they'll say one thing or another. I have a pet monkey, for those of you guys who don't know. When he's mad, he bites. When he's happy, he shows you affection. My dogs, when they're mad, they bite each other. When they're happy, they show affection. Human beings tend to be deceiving. They wear a mask. What did I say earlier? When you're connecting with other people, we cannot have a mask on. Do we follow that? Yes. So we know we can have a mask on. That's what this is. You're communicating congruent body language that shows you mean what you said. Do we follow? Yes? Raise your hand, understand. That's why this makes up more than 50% of communication, because it's truthfully telling somebody whether you mean what you say. Okay? If I say something, I know. Can you look at someone and be like, they find me attractive? Can anyone here do that? I think everyone can do that. Whether you believe you're attractive or not might distort it, but for the most part, you could look at someone and see if they're interested. Can you look at someone and see if they're paying attention to what you're saying? Yes? Can everyone do that? Can you look at someone if they're happy? Yes? Can you identify if someone's angry? Yes? Maybe you can't pinpoint what they're doing. Can you tell if someone's disgusted? Yeah, everyone can. Of course we can. It's innate. It is innate. Right? Can we tell if everyone's participating? Yeah. Good. Right? So that's body language. Then we have tonality. And I'll just say 25% because, to be honest, these go hand in hand. So, tonality of words. How many times has someone said, how are you? Good. Tonality, what? Even on the phone, you can't see them. Hey, how you doing? I'm good. I'm fucking amazing. Great. 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 Right? You say that, but we see how it has different meanings because there's a different emotion behind it. Now, what's the one common theme behind every piece of communication? Because believe it or not, your brain understands the world through emotion. Emotion is the language of the mind. We tend to believe that logic and ration is what we use. We don't use that. Emotion is the language of the mind, because emotion puts things in motion. It puts your tonality in motion, your words in motion, your body language in motion. The more emotion you're willing to express, if it's not fucking fake, which is incongruent, right? The more emotion you're willing to express, the more trustworthy you are, because you can make a clear note of what that person's intentions are. Imagine this. You meet someone, they're like, yeah, I like you. I really like you. But you can't tell if they really like you. Versus like, I fucking love you. I love you. I love you. Right? Difference in communication. Now, and let me ask ladies here. If you meet a guy and he's 100% confident, and he looks at you and he goes, I really like you, and he means it, is that less attractive or more attractive? A lot more attractive. Because what kind of guy has the fucking balls to be straight up, I like you? No one. Because we always have to hide our emotions. And the only reason you'd be willing to hide your emotions and hurt people, and there's fear involved, and it's a mask. Somehow, when your walls drop, everyone around you is going to be more vulnerable. It's so weird. People always go, Marcel, it's so interesting. People tell you secrets they've never told anybody. Why? And I'm like, that's really interesting. Why? Because I'm willing to tell anyone anything. I have no secrets. Ask a question, give you the answer. I give every single person the answer, anything they want to know. Because I have to hide. I am not ashamed of who I am. I'm not ashamed of what I've done. I will not do something I'm ashamed of. And if I will be ashamed of it, I wouldn't do it. And people make mistakes, but it doesn't matter. And I want you guys to understand, you are not your past, you are not your mistakes. You are who you decide to be now. And that is why this concept of personal development even works. Because if you are who you are, right, if that determined who you are, then you could never change. You'd be stuck, right? There's a lot of cartoons. I remember growing up, you'd see Jimmy Neutron or like Fairly Odd Parents. You'd see all these episodes, and they'd constantly have this theme like, people can't change, right? And there's this ignorance around it. And then they would show people change, but they would change over time. And like fast forward through like a timeline, and 10 years later, you see them change. I don't believe that. I believe change happens and we make a decision and we change. There's a moment you fall in love. There's a moment you decide that you're willing to trust that person enough that you could be vulnerable with them and fall in love with them. There's a moment you decide you no longer want to be with someone. There's a moment you decide you're going to start a business. You're going to go to the gym. There's a moment where you commit to the future that you like. Now, what I want to do is I want to accelerate that in a short amount of time, because that's what our theme today is. I want to bring moments into this talk so we can have several moments where we decide to commit to our future. Do we agree with that? Say yes. Yes. Good. So why is this so important? Well, we're about to do an exercise, and you'll see why it's important in a second. But it's really important to understand that your body language is extremely important in communication. Now, when we get into rapport with someone, which is what we're talking about now, most of what that is internal, right? If I'm feeling a certain emotion, I'm going to be congruent in my body language, my tonality, and the words that come out of my mouth, right? I'm going to be very congruent inside of that. Now, let's say I want to connect to you, or I want to connect to you, or I want to connect to you. Look around the room really quick, and if someone next to you is crossing your arms, for instance, look here, they're all crossing arms and their legs. No, it's a good thing. I'm just pointing out, all of you are at rapport, because you're all sitting next to each other, right? Unconsciously, you're all putting your arms over your arm, like you're going like this, right? He's crossing his hands probably, or you're writing, right? Either way, for the most part, you guys are probably doing similar things to your neighbor. We have something called mirror neurons. What are they? Mirror. I want participation here, guys. Do you guys not get the irony in that? Mirror neurons. You know, you're supposed to participate. I'm trying to turn those fucking neurons on. Okay. What are they called? Mirror. Thank you. So we have mirror neurons. Now, the reason we have them is because we used to live in a fucking cave with a tribe. Now, how do you know one belongs or doesn't? Well, are they part of my tribe, or are they here to take my resources, fucking rape my women, and kill my kids? You got to know. It's hardwired to you. So write this down. There are 3 things we do when we see somebody, and then I'll teach you rapport. First thing we do is we assess whether or not they are a threat. Is this person harmful to me or not? If you had an ex-girlfriend or boyfriend that really hurt you, and you see somebody, what's your brain immediately going to do? Oh shit. If they look like them, your brain's going to go, fuck that. That's not for me. Unless you like it, right? Some people like the pain. They get addicted to, yeah, fuck me up. Fuck me up. Let's go. Around 10. Yeah. Why does this keep happening to me? You know? Exact fucking toxic loop, right? It's just like, hurt me. You know? Anyway, some crazy shit. So first thing we do is we assess whether or not someone's a threat or not. The second thing we do is we assess their value, their status. How much value or status does that person possess? Fun fact, we decide this in under 1/10 of a second. In less than 1/10 of a second, you're able to determine whether or not someone is attractive physically, whether or not they're a viable mate, whether or not they have some kind of status. We determine their confidence level. We determine whether or not we think they're famous or popular. All in 1/10 of a second. 1/10 of a second, you are literally scanning the room and you know who's valuable, who's not. That's what your brain does. What are things in your head that for you? Very interesting. I'll finish this in a moment. I want to make sure I cover this. Different cultures and different societies value different. Really attractive for women that have black teeth. Who? Okay. man who's pale with long nails is attractive. It's more attractive the pale you are. Why? It means you're not working out in the yard or field, right? You probably are wealthier, and you have long nails. It means you're not doing hard labor. Therefore, more attractive, probably have more status. Different societies have different value. The more value something has, the more attractive it is. So value equals attractive. Write that down. Value equals attraction. Now, if I find a penny on the ground, am I excited? No. You could be a multimillionaire. If you find $200 on the ground, you're going to feel good because it's a lucky day. It's a rare event. The more rare the event, the more rare the quality, the more difficult it is to attain that specific quality or trade. So perceived version of it, right? Perceived value of that. The bigger the reward. The bigger the reward, the more attractive. So you look at someone who you've been trying to think is attractive. You look at America. You look at what you've been completely hypnotized and brainwashed to believe is attractive. From your parents, right? What your mom treated you like, how she probably looked, how your mom's friends looked, how whatever pop culture, media, magazines you're into, whatever your sister's friends look like, your schoolmates, your first crush. All of that determines value in your head, and now your brain goes, okay, this is what I find valuable, and a fraction of a second determines that's valuable or not. This is where we need to correct this. Some people can't actually properly measure this because they've been around the wrong people their whole life. If you've been around the wrong people, you might think, let's say you grew up in the hood, you might think being the drug lord of that hood is the most valuable thing inside of that society. But now you step out of that environment and you go, oh shit, there's a lot more levels to this game, right? So the second people do, again, is they measure status. The third thing we do when we first meet somebody is we measure what value we offer them. What value do we offer them? If I think they're valuable, your brain now assesses, how do I need to act in order to get that person to like me? This makes sense. Say yes?
Yes.
Well, I'm going to show you exactly how to act in order to get them to like you. This is exactly what we're going to do right now. I'm going to give you guys a fucking hack, whereas before you even talk to them, before they even consciously paid attention to you, they'll know. So, who here knows Howie Mandel? So I was at a steakhouse with my buddy Eli, with my parents, and we're sitting there at the steakhouse, and Howie Mandel is sitting approximately, take that, I think with his brother. I don't know if he has a brother, but the guy looked like his brother, and maybe their wives. And he's facing this way, I'm facing this way, and he's there. Every time Howie picked up his drink, I went and picked up my drink. Then he'd pick up his drink, I'd pick up my drink. He'd lean forward, I'd lean forward. He'd lean back, I'd lean back. After this, I was just doing it nonstop, literally nonstop. He'd eat, I would eat. I pick up my drink. Guess what he did? He picked up his drink. I'm like, cha-ching, we got rapport. Now that I have rapport, I went up to him. You look familiar. Really? I do? Yeah, it's because we've met before. This one thing. I didn't say it like that. But you guys understand how this could be valuable. So we're going to do an exercise before we even continue. I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes for this. And the whole point of the exercise is to have a genuine conversation, standing up. Now, what kinds of things do we do in our body language? One, blinking. If you see the person blink, you're probably blinking at the exact same time. When we're in rapport, we're blinking at the same time, right? Second thing, breathing. Your breathing will start to match. Third thing, mannerisms, gestures, how far I am, right? Position, proximity. If I lean forward, are they leaning forward? If I lean back, are they leaning back? If I'm on one leg, are they on one leg, right? We start to match and mirror the other person. If I touch my hair, are they going to touch their hair? Right? If I point, am I going to use the same mannerisms? He just pointed back at me, same mannerisms. If I clap, are they clapping? If I snap, are they snapping? What are they doing that I'm doing? Right? Make sense? Like the whole room just touched their face. It's pretty funny to me, right? If you touch your face, raise your hand. If you touch your face after I said that, raise your hand. See that? Point is when you're in rapport, people start to do this. Now, some of you know this, but there's never enough practice. And you got to get this part down if you want to get the next stuff down, because it's going to get a lot more advanced. So what we're going to do is we're going to find a partner. You're going to have a regular 5-minute conversation. I believe 5 minutes is good enough, correct? So we're going to have a 5-minute conversation. In the conversation, I want you to observe a few things. I want you to observe what they're doing that's similar to you. Note it. Don't try and copy them. Don't try and follow them. Don't try and pay attention. Just have a candid conversation and let things take its course. We kind of be like, well, look at that. Look at that. Now, simple things. If I start rocking back and forth, people do it. Can I get a volunteer real quick? All right. Come on, give me a round of applause. How you doing? All right. So do me a favor. All right. See, all right. I'm already moving. Notice it's already turning towards me, right? So I'm already leading him in rapport. Now, obviously, I'm on a seminar stage. Look at his leg. Where's the weight gone? Okay, you see how fast it happens though, right? He's still leaning on another leg. He's still in rapport with me. He just changed legs. Same thing, same rapport, right? Right? So I just want to show you guys, there's a lot of things. So give me a high five. Awesome. What?
Right when you did that, you changed legs again.
Yeah. See, but that's unconscious. You don't have to think about it. Point is this is happening nonstop. You guys understand? Say yes.
Yes.
Okay, right? Get it?
Yeah.
Okay. Something that you could do that will get everyone to respond immediately. Test this out later in the hallway. It's called an eyebrow flash. You go. Right? I brought it up. Point is, if you do that, usually 99% of the population will respond with an eyebrow flash. And probably more likely to receive you and like you as soon as you do that. Right? You go. Now, if I'm looking innocent, what do I do? Me? I did something? Right? Same shit. So it brings out this adolescence. Notice how I've rocked and changed sides with him multiple times. You watch it on the recording later. Point is he's done it. And I just want to show you simple things like that. You could see people in rapport with you. Now just play this game for 5 minutes. Play this game of seeing how people go. He touched himself because he's a little bit uncomfortable with that. It's okay. And then he also went like this with his lips. Right? That's called a lip compression. It means you're not saying something. There's an opinion that he's holding back, right? There he did it again, right? So that if someone does that while you're talking to them, it's like, hey, so what did you do last night? Oh, I just went home. Yeah, all right, you went home. And then what? Nothing. And then they go, anytime you put something in your mouth, fingers, pencil, necklace. Now, if it's consistent, it's consistent. It's just a comforting behavior. But if you put something in your mouth, all of a sudden, it's actually need for reassurance. That's what that is. That's a need for reassurance of some sort. So if I look around the room and I yell at someone and immediately they put their pencil in their mouth or their finger in their mouth or they bite their lip, I know I need to reassure them. Make sense? Yes? I'm trying to give you guys a bunch of language stuff right now, which is pretty cool. But, you know, I just think it's cool. So thank you for volunteering. I give them a round of applause. Thank you. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to find a partner. And what you're going to do is you're just going to talk to them. Want to see what mannerism, if they're doing what they're doing. If you smile, do they smile? If you nod, do they nod? If I move back and forth, are they moving back and forth? If I lean in, are they leaning in? If I talk louder, are they talking louder? Right now we're talking tonality and volume. If I talk louder, are they talking louder? If I talk lower, are they talking lower? If I get mad, are they paying attention or not? Right? Words, are they using the same words as me? Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Right? Right? Right. You get it? Perfect. Say yes? Yes? All right. So that's rapport. Is 5 minutes enough time, or do you guys want to go about 6 minutes for this? All right, we'll go 6 minutes. I'll give you 6 minutes. Find a partner and just observe what's happening. Now, you might think this isn't important, but the reason I share this with you is because this is going to be extremely important later on, because you're going to see if someone's connecting to you or not. Maybe being a rapport, all of a sudden, someone completely does something opposite you. You might have said something in that moment that they're not even consciously aware of yet that triggered them. And you have about half a second to fix it, right? Like a lot of you might be thinking about, you know, an N-word that could be really offensive. So I am really not going to say that word, right? But you could see that some people were like he goes, oh yeah? I'm kidding. Yeah. Point is that you could see someone get really offended immediately and you can correct it, right? And there are times where I'll be on stage and I'll say something and it might come off wrong, or I'll see maybe one person reacted differently, right? And I'll be like, okay, I gotta quickly adapt, right? And that's how you keep the room together. That's how you keep one-on-one people together, right? You want to become aware of other people's body language. It's going to give you so much information. You're never going to see a conversation the same way. Do we like this? Yes. 6 minutes from now. And hey, Mike, come on stage. teach yourself how to make the change. Now, the biggest thing you'll notice today, and this is probably the coolest thing I ever experienced when I went to seminars, is how little I knew about me and how little I knew about my own psychology. So when you talk to others, now some of you might have done this before, but I want you to really become aware of it. Are you noticing it all the time, or is it just something that you notice here and then you forget about it? If you want this skill to stick, you have to start to observe it. You'll observe it with other people. You'll observe it with people in the audience. You'll observe it with people in a restaurant. You'll see a couple that's fighting. One person will cross their arms. One person won't be in rapport. You'll notice another couple fighting. Both of them are in rapport, which tells you both of them want things to improve. They just can't communicate. So they're conflicted. They're fighting, right? So this will give you a lot of insight. I remember I was dating a girl, and we were talking, and we started fighting. And all of a sudden, I just go like this, and she's sitting down, I'm standing up, my couch here, and she immediately goes, and I go, I started laughing. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? We're fighting, we don't even want to be fighting. I don't want to be fighting. She clearly doesn't want to be fighting. She's in rapport with me, right? She's literally in rapport with me, and we're fighting. So I just fixed it immediately. I said, hey, come here, come give me a hug. Right? I changed the strategy. I became flexible and I fixed the situation. Now, the reason I bring this up to you is because this will start to give you insight in ways you've never had before. I want you to understand, if you want to understand others, understand yourself. Become aware when you are reacting to somebody. When someone does something and you're reacting, they're the leader of the conversation, at least in that moment. Now you can follow them, you can see where it goes, you can lead the conversation, you subtly start to make changes, and I'll cover this concept later today, that will allow you to have more leverage in the conversation. Some people want to feel like they're in control of the conversation. Give it to them. When you give them the control, who really has the control? Because you know who's really in control, because you're aware. Does that make sense? You guys want to do things intelligently, not with your ego. Ego is, I'm going to conflict with people. I'm going to fight with people. I'm going to do things with people that don't make sense. Human beings respond better to collaboration rather than confrontation. So you should write that down. Human beings respond better to collaboration rather than confrontation. Now, I want to dive into tonality. We're going to do an exercise of that now as well. Now, tonality is really important because tonality represents what? We look at the radio, right? You're driving a car, you look at the radio. What does the sound coming out of the radio show you? Shows you a lot of information. Shows you what's playing. Is it a music station? Is it a radio station? Is it close to wherever it's being broadcasted? Is there good reception here? Is there bad reception? Is it Bluetooth? Is it plugged in? Does this person feel like they're in a bad mood or are they in a good mood? What's their music taste? What's their music taste? Tell me about them, right? Well, your tonality is that radio. Your tonality is communicating quite a bit of data to another individual. Think about it. How do you know when someone really loves you? How do you know when someone really hates you? How do you know when someone doesn't like you, doesn't care about you, or someone who just is indifferent towards you? How do you know someone's happy or sad? What emotion they're feeling? Well, your tonality communicates all of that. Tonality will communicate your emotions to the rest of the world. So there are three things that we do with our tonality in statements. And each one can be very intelligently. Some are more confrontational, some are more collaborative, and some are indifferent. The first one is a question. Questions are powerful. A question at the end goes, how are you? How are you, right? But it's like this slow curve. Versus happy is this like fast upwards tonality. We know unconsciously, it's not like I have to sit here and explain it to you. We all know what a question fucking sounds like, correct? Yeah? Do you guys know what a question sounds like?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay? So happy is a lot faster, but being aware of it is key, because sometimes someone will say something or conceal something, and in their tonality, you can see what they're feeling or what they're truly expressing. It's powerful stuff. The second is a statement. This is a statement. It just flat. This is a statement, right? Right?
Yes.
Right's a statement. Is it? Thank you. Right? Right? But you notice how no one got that because I didn't do, right? I went. Does this make sense? But this is how you go under the radar sometimes. You change your tonality. I can get into somebody's head by asking a question with a different tonality. For instance, I might ask myself how I can afford something. You know, I think to myself, how can I afford this? I can't afford this. I will afford this. I'm going to buy this. And now whoever's thinking to myself, right, whoever's in the room, if I wanted to sell you, I just made it a little bit easier for myself under the radar. Now, if I put in a story, for instance, I was stuck, I was struggling, I wasn't sure, I went to a seminar, I wanted to invest in myself, and I went, how can I afford this? How can I afford this? I can afford this. I'm going to buy this. I'm going to buy this right now. I'm going to take action right now, which leads me to a command. That looks like this. Come here, right now. Stand up, stand up, stand up. No, but you see, right? You guys get it? So that's a command. Now you can leverage these different things differently. It's up to you, and it's obviously a little bit more advanced, and I go into these things a lot more in depth when I have more time at different seminars. However, just know these are all very valuable tools. And if I ask questions in a command, can you open the door? It's no longer a question. Sounds like a question, but that's not a question. Can you open the door? Can you stand up? Right? You guys understand how different the receptivity might be? You can use these things, and you're pretty much taking a question, a sentence that sounds like a question, and you're making it a statement. If I go, open the door, versus, can you open the door? Same tonality, made it seem like a question. I framed it as a question, and now it lands easier or harder? Easier. Are people more likely or less likely to comply? Because they feel like they have control, because they feel it's their choice, because I made it a question. So you guys understand how powerful this stuff can be. I'm not going to dive too deep into it because, truthfully, I could go a whole day just on stuff. I don't want to do that because we don't have that much time. However, I wanted to share this with you because I think it's pretty important, at least to observe. Can we observe that? Yes? Yes. Can we observe that? Yes. Thank you. 100% participation. We're going to go full out. So that's tonality. It's important. Now you look at language, words. Words are interesting because there are key words that you use in specific situations. Today we're going to focus on one of them. Types of words. And they're pronouns. These are individual, these are group pronouns, right? So we, me, will communicate in a we, a me, or a you sentence. This is what this sounds like. We're in this together. Come on, let's go. I'm gonna help you out. Like, hey, help me. Let's do this for me. Different pronouns, different people, different belief systems. Start to listen to them. I just used all three. Now, who here is having a hard time understand that really quick, just so I can repeat that? Pronouns are terminology you use to decide whether or not, and this is what's happening in someone's mind, if that person's thinking about a group, if they're thinking about one person, or if they're thinking about themselves. This gives us a lot of information. Now, how you communicate to some people will be different than how you communicate to others. So in a seminar setting, Do I want to use team pronouns or them pronouns? Team, usually. But if I'm looking at someone and it's really intimate, I might change the pronouns in the middle of the sentence. So I'll say something like this, like, you know, in a group, I feel like all of us can lift each other up, especially when you are ready to make a change for your life. Now it's landed. Now it's become personal, right? But it's blended into a group pronoun because people are more likely to be a recipient or reciprocate in a group setting. Does this make sense to us? Yeah. So what we're going to do now in this exercise is we're going to have 10 minutes because this is a little bit more detailed. And what we're going to do in the exercise is you're going to find a partner. With your partner, you're going to just have conversations and you're going to change tonality. You're going to play with it and you're going to listen. I want you guys to tell a story about your household, your friendships, your work, and write down, whether it's on your phone or on a notebook, write down what types of pronouns they use and write down the exact pronouns. They say, yeah, we, us, together. Could be actually, together is not a pronoun, but some people use it. I like this word because some people use it and they'll use the word we and then they'll use the word together. If in a relationship setting, they're talking about us together, it's still team because it's plural. So it's us, right? I'm not doing this for you. I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for us, okay? So think about the pronouns. Me, you got I. What else? Myself. Mine. Good. It's ownership a little bit, right? Mine talks about owning something. So realize different words have different meaning. The linguistics of these things get a little bit more complicated, but I want you guys to become aware of it because if you do, you'll get a lot more information. Someone might say something to you and you don't know why it's coming off wrong. And then you find out that the way they're communicating is very selfish. They're talking about themselves the whole time instead of talking about you the whole time. Or the group or the friend group. I remember I went out to a party and I'm usually the leader of my friend group. So if I go into a party and one of us doesn't get in, none of us go in. Now it's stressful. You got to make plans. You got to make sure everyone gets in. You got to sweet talk people. You got to do shit all the time, right? So this time I said, fuck it. My friend said, hey, let me lead. I said, you lead. Go ahead. Go do it. Well, everyone except for 2 people got in. He stayed in. Now, if I had listened to his pronouns when he said that, he said, let me lead. I got this. Don't worry. I'm going to make sure I have a good night. Okay. You did have a good night. We didn't, though. Make sense? So you could already start to see that in their language. So I want you guys to just be aware, you're communicating, and it's okay to be selfish in some things. Like when I talk about work, I'm talking time to work. I'm really focused right now. Please don't bother me when I am working. I need time to myself, right? We all have these pronouns. We all use them. But in what setting? In what context? So you're going to have 3 subjects you're going to talk about. You're going to talk about your personal relationships, like intimate, up to you if you want to talk about dating. You want to talk about business, up to you. Your household, your family. And then just talk about your day-to-day. Like, this is what I did today, okay? The reason we're going to do that is because I want you to start to identify how social is the person you're talking to on 1 to 10, right? How social are they? 1 to 10. Whatever, I'll just do that. Social, 1 to 10. The second thing is their confidence, 1 to 10. And you get that from tonality. Don't show this to them. Ask them afterwards. And I want to see how close they are, okay? Confidence, 1 to 10. And the last, selfish, 1 to 10. Does this make sense? So yeah, so these are 3 categories. Your personal life, so it could be like relationships, intimate relationships that matter. Your family, so like really close, intimate setting. If you feel like you're not with your family, you don't talk to your family, that's fine. You can communicate that, right? And just pronouns, right? And then the last one, just your day-to-day, what I do today. What my day look like? And then from those 3 things that you hear them talk about, I want you to write down how social you think they are on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident you think they are on a scale of 1 to 10, and how selfish you think they are on a scale of 1 to 10. Okay?
Yes.
Now, there's a reason I do this. And then write down what they say about themselves. Have them rate themselves, okay? After. And then see how close they are. And I'll show you guys what's happening. Because if I believe, right, out of curiosity, how social do you guys think I am? Scale 1 to 10.
11.
Okay. How confident do you think I am?
11.
Okay. And how selfish do you think I am? 10, 6, 10, 11. Okay. We have different opinions, but these people pretty much agree unanimously I'm a 10, right? Now, the reason I bring that up is because how are you communicating to the world? How are you showing up to the world? How are people perceiving you? Now, it might just be your partner. Like someone said, I'm a 6 in selfishness. I actually disagree. I think I'm one of the least selfish people, at least for people who are very close to me, right? I'm very unselfish. But I can tell you that might just because they're around selfish people, they have like rose-colored glasses on for that specific lens because they've been around that. Or maybe that's a projection of themselves. Who knows? I have no idea. But I that this will give you some insight, at least, as to how others or your partner are seeing you. I just want to see how much they align. And we're going to have more than one partner here because I want you to get a couple different people to give you feedback. All right? So we're going to have 2 partners. This is actually going to be a longer exercise. It'll take 15 minutes. Why? Because it's going to take you about 7 minutes, let's say 3.5 minutes per partner, right, to share your story, what you did today, your relationship with your family, and your relationship with your close friends. That'll take about 3.5 minutes per person if you do this properly, unless you want more time. We need more time? No. Half the room saying yes. We'll say 5 minutes, okay? So 5 minutes for each person to talk. After 10 minutes, set an alarm back there so you can wave to me, please. We're going to switch partners. And then we're going to do it again. Yes. Any question on this exercise? Okay, I'm going to review one more time so no one fucks up. We're looking for 2 things. We're looking for tonality. This isn't that important in this exercise. Just become aware of it. Okay? If someone starts talking about their family, okay, what does it mean? Okay? And then also notice how that correlates to which pronoun, right? Is it going to be more selfish? Probably, right? It's probably going to be more about me. So notice how these negative states of anger, frustration, sadness start to correlate to things. And don't censor yourself. Be fucking honest. Be honest. Because I'm going to show you, and you guys will understand now, how 1, to start to understand people better, 2, how to understand yourselves better, and 3, how we're going to use this to our advantage. We got that? Yep. Phenomenal. So starting now, I'll let you guys know in 5 minutes when to switch partners, and then 5 minutes, switch partners, let your partner go, and then I want you at the end of the exercise to share, then we'll switch partners completely and do it again. So you'll do this twice. Yes. New people. Guys, always have new people as your partners. This way you network with the room, okay? All right, starting now. change. Now, what kind of person gets better results? Someone at the bottom of the hierarchy or someone at the top of the hierarchy? Top. Now, is their confidence level lower or higher? Are they more social or less social? Are they more selfish or more selfless? Selfless. Selfless. The opposite of selfish. Reason being, when you're at the bottom of the hierarchy, you have no resources. Imagine you are a caveman and you track down some fucking ox or something for days. You're smelling its shit on the ground. You're fucking starving. You're eating berries on bushes just to have enough calories to survive. You're getting cut. You're getting beat up. And finally, you throw your spear. You get your kill. And you have to cut it up into pieces, put it in some bags, and start carrying it back to your family, which if you don't get on it, sure enough, so die. Now, I did all that work, put in all that effort. Someone else comes around me, and they want some of my food. Am I generous? No, because I don't have access to resources at the bottom of the hierarchy. But the king in any empire, do they have resources? They have all of the resources. They have unlimited resources. And now, you look at our government, they print as much money as they want. It's like unlimited. I just keep printing money. I keep spending money we don't even have. Fuck it. You guys will pay for it. All right? Top of the hierarchy. Now, there's obviously variations to this, and there's reasons people show up here, even though they deserve to be here, but they won't stay there for long. So what happens is, these traits are very selfish. It's about me. It's about what I get from this. Not about what the group gets from this. Not what about my friends or family get from this. It's what can I get? Well, what can you get? I don't know. If you think in this way, I am willing to assume, and I'm actually willing to bet, you probably don't have more than $1,000 in your bank account. You probably don't have any relationships worthwhile, maybe a couple friends, also very similar to you. When you are really nice to people, it's not out of being nice, it's out of desperation and people pleasing. And your confidence level is lower, more likely to be depressed, more likely to have anxiety, more likely to have less social skills, less confidence, less fulfillment. Not your fault. You may have not learned better, which is why you came here today. You may have grown up in an environment where this was what it meant to be here. Where people said, can't trust anybody, it's me against the world, there's no way you can make money, money is hard to make, it is difficult to succeed, it is difficult to improve, there is no way life is easy, life is hard, things will not go my way. Accidentally put you at the bottom of the hierarchy. What is this like? Generous. Someone up here, even if they don't have money yet, probably will. They'll do what's necessary. They'll take the investments that are necessary to stay here. They'll think in abundance. They'll work on themselves. They will improve every area of their life. They will be consistent until they get this outcome. You don't accidentally get a six-pack. You don't accidentally look good in the gym. You don't accidentally make money. It takes a specific strategy, set of behavior, and mindset to create that outcome. Do you understand that? Say yes. Yes. So, what are the key differences between the two? Biggest one thinks big, one thinks small. One thinks about others, one thinks about themselves. One is extremely motivated because they're thinking about others. One is not that motivated because it doesn't take much to fuel someone who's starving. If someone is starving, nothing's ever enough, but believe it or not, that's not true. When you're starving, anything is enough. If you're in the middle of the desert and you had no water, would you be happy for a drop? Yeah, you would be. Maybe if you got a gallon, I'd indulge. But odds are, if you're starving, you're probably not going to have access to a gallon of water. Make sense? Now you find someone who's at the top. Well, two people, same desert, both thirsty. One cannot wait to get a drop of water. Will a drop of water save their life? No. Will water quench thirst? Never. But I'm constantly looking for small plants, and I'm like, please, just give me a drop. Give me a drop. Give me a drop. And they know that in order to find a well, they might have to sweat a little bit more. They might have to put a little bit more out there. They might have to do a little bit more work. But they're so thirsty, they can't see beyond minute to minute. Then you have this other person who goes, I'm going to endure this pain a little bit. I'm going to endure this stress a little bit. I'm going to put myself out of my comfort zone. And they decide that they're going to go into an environment where they now have to push themselves. And right before they feel about to die, they stumble across this abundance, this well, this ocean of wealth, of water, of fruit, of food. And now they have as much as they want. They can even go back and save the other person if they want it. What's the difference? I'll tell you. One believes that there will be a reward at the end of the treacherous trip. One believes they're going to die if they don't get the thing that's here right now. How many of us are starving? Don't have to raise your hand here, but just think to yourself. How many of us are starving financially? How many of us are starving in our dating life? How many of us are starving in our health? If you are starving, the solution isn't to be eating crumbs off the floor. The solution is to raise your standard, even though you might not believe that it's possible. If you look to the past and you go, in the past, I never had this. And then you become never had this because other people treated you a certain way, you can't have it in the future. You are thinking out of scarcity, selfishness. You know why it's selfish to be in scarcity? It's selfish to be in scarcity because your family that works hard, your friends that work hard, your future kids that work hard are not going to have what you can offer them unless you get into abundance. Abundance creates abundance. Scarcity creates scarcity. Let me ask you guys this question. Are you more likely to create an abundance of wealth, relationships, connections, and happiness, thinking and believing that you'll get it, or less likely? Truthfully, am I more likely to get everything I've ever wanted if I believe that I can? If I believe in myself, I believe I'll have it, will I get it? And here's an example for that. Imagine I gave you a lottery ticket right now, losing ticket. Who here is running out of seminar to do it? It's a losing ticket. Swear to God, all my life, losing ticket. No one's going to fucking win. I'm not trying to fool you here. You know for a fact I'm going to go do that. Nobody. But if you knew for a fact it was the winning ticket, for a fact, get up and cash it. Because you believe there's a reward. That lottery ticket, ironically, can be the winning ticket. Your life, your dreams, that's the lottery ticket you were handed. Everyone has a lottery ticket. Question is, are you going to cash in? You're going to cash it in even if it takes some effort. Even if it costs you everything you own. All the time you have now, you're going to cash it in. Even if it hurts a little bit, create some stress. Will you still cash it in? Most people say no. Most people stay in scarcity. Now, those people are not you. You are not the type of person who's not going to live their life. I'm not going to allow that to happen. That's why you're here. I'm not going to allow you to stay in a place where you can't grow. I started this coaching thing when I was 16 years old. I had no money. My parents lost everything in 2008. So we grew up very wealthy. I grew up in mansions. And one day, I remember this day very clearly because I could not flush the toilet after I had pissed. I wake up in the morning. I go take my morning piss. I still do that to this day, and I'm 23, right? And I go to wash my hands. It works out. I'm like, fuck is this, you know? I didn't say that, obviously, because again, I'm a kid. I didn't use the word what the fuck, but I go to wash my hands, nothing comes out. Go to turn on the shower, a couple drops come out. Go turn on the light, lights don't work. Water and power is cut off. I didn't even know you had to pay for water and power. I didn't know that was a thing. So imagine being in this beautiful mansion, now there's no water and power. Now after a few days in a house without water and power, if anyone here has ever experienced that, it doesn't smell good. It doesn't smell good. Had to shower in a park in LA. By the time you walk back, what's the point of showering? How we'd flush toilets is we'd have our neighbors give us water inside of our trash bin, and we'd use a bucket to pour it into the toilet. I light up the house with candles. And after about 2-3 months, homeless, not even there anymore. And imagine, you're super popular, you have all these friends, you can't even bring your friends to your house anymore because there's no water or power. It's embarrassing. Like, you think about that, you're like, what the fuck? What the hell? Now, I've been on both sides of the aisle. Growing up, did not have money. My dad has had 9 heart surgeries. It's not like he could go get a job and help my mom and make it work. It's like, well, why didn't your parents get a job? My mom got a job. My mom's never worked a day, like she worked before my dad, but after I was born, she didn't work a day in her life. And all of a sudden, she has to go work again. Now she has to go work. She's working for my dad, me, my twin sister. They're trying to give us the best education. We couldn't even be in private school anymore. They had to take us out of private school because of that, right? And I'm seeing them stressed. I remember one day I'm in the car with them, and maybe you guys can remember this. The car, and I was like 10, almost 11. I'm in the back seat. They pick us up from school. I have a twin sister. She's sitting next to me. And I'm looking at my parents, and I say, hey, can we get some McDonald's? I'm not thinking. This is before water and power goes off. My mom didn't say anything. My dad looked at my mom, and he said no. And the way he said no was different than how he normally says no. He never says no, but this time was different. And I've never seen my dad cry. I've never seen anything like that. And I'm looking in the mirror, right, in the car mirror on the left side. I'm looking in the car mirror. I'm looking at my dad, and he's trying to look at the road. And I see his eyes watering. I didn't understand why he had just said no to me to get a $1 McDonald's sandwich. Now you think about that. And at 10 years old, I started to understand what it was to have money. People think money is a selfish thing. Money is a resource. And I'm looking at the pain it's causing my dad, that everything he's earned in his whole life, he's now losing. And he can't even provide for his kids. Working minimum wage jobs since he was 14 years old, saving every penny, literally immigrated here, American dream. Go on like that. And my sister, I can't even have McDonald's, and I'm looking at my mom's tearing up because she has to say no to their kids. My parents love me more than anything in the world. They give me and my sister anything, and they can't even give us McDonald's. Now you look at that, and it's like, what do you do if you're there? Well, go to high school, I went to school, can't go with my friends. They want to invite me to Cheesecake Factory, want to go to a restaurant. I said no because I couldn't even afford gas to get there. Not just the meal, I couldn't afford the gas, and I have pride. I have a lot of pride. I would never ask for someone to pay for it, but I said I'm going to figure this out. And my goal was to make sure that nobody who is in that same situation has to deal with that again if they feel they're stuck in that situation. The second thing was, my goal was, when I'm out of that situation, how can I help people go to the highest levels so they can make the biggest impact? I know if I can teach people valuable lessons, not just on how to make more money in a short amount of time, but teach them generosity, merit, giving, they can start to make a difference for other people and give other people resources and tools that can also change the world. There's unlimited money. I don't care what people tell you, there is unlimited money to go around. Everybody here can get it. Now you might be asking yourself, well, what is the right way to think about money? Well, there's 2 ways to think about money. There's a way that someone down here thinks about money, and there's a way that someone up here thinks about money. This is the difference. Money is a mindset. Money is a what? Mindset. Now there's money you make, and there's money you spend. Make, spend. Now I look at money and I go, okay, if I'm making a lot of money, am I willing to spend a lot of money? If I'm not making any money, am I willing to spend money? Because I believe what? that I'm not gonna make more money. Now, if I believe, and this is the trap, this is literally the trap, if I believe I'm not gonna make more money, will I make more money? No. Why? Your brain stops being resourceful. We are so good at being we're so good at being resourceful at how unresourceful we really are. People are good at being resourceful at being unresourceful. They can give you a million excuses for why they can't do it because your brain is hardwired to think in scarcity. Now, when you're in scarcity, can you help your family? Can you help your parents? Can you help your friends? Can you help yourself? No. If you want things to change, you got to think differently. I have a pet monkey, and the way monkeys think is a little bit different than how we think. For instance, if I hand this to you, that's now. He owns it. There is no sense of ownership with monkeys. Have a bet? Unless you are the alpha. Now, this is the chemical composition of the alpha. They have 2 to 3 times more testosterone than the rest of the tribe. They have 2 to 3 times more oxytocin than the eldest female, and the eldest female is the one who's supposed to have the most empathy. Oxytocin is a chemical that allows you to connect and feel love. So the alpha male, when you look at chimpanzees, which are the closest to us genetically, has 2 to 3 times more oxytocin than the tribe. Is it selfish or unselfish? Unselfish. And they have 2 to 3 times more testosterone, confidence, serotonin. They have way more serotonin than the rest of the tribe. Serotonin is the neurotransmitter for status. When you feel confident, when you feel like you are the shit, you have way more serotonin. This makes sense so far? Yes. Now you look at that, and you just look at the chemical composition of that person, or that primate, right? I have a pet monkey. How did my monkey even get to be my pet monkey? Well, he was bred by his parents, who are famous actors. Literally, his parents are famous monkeys, okay? And the way they trap monkeys is a monkey will go to a trap and grab food. Now, usually, the monkey that will grab food, is he one in abundance or scarcity? Scarcity. Now, he goes to grab the food, and they come and they grab the monkey and they take the monkey. Now, here's the trick. If the monkey wants to let go of the food, if he let go of the food, just went like this, he could get out of the trap and he could leave. But the monkey is so stuck on its ways, it's so stuck on being in scarcity, it's so stuck on the fact that it needs to hold on to what it has, even though it has nothing, it's willing to lose everything, its freedom, its ability to achieve all its goals, because it won't let go of that one piece of food. Think about your bank account for a second. Think about your personal life. What sacrifices do you have to make now in order to go to the next level now? Don't be a monkey. Don't be a monkey. Hold on to something instead of getting everything. So here's the catch. The catch is, if you want to get better and you want your life to improve, the biggest transformation you have to make is a psychological one. Would we all agree that everything we do is the result of our thinking? Yes? Yes. Would we also agree that if we think differently, we act differently? Yes? Yes. And if we act differently than we are currently acting, do we get different results? Yes. Now, there was a time in my life where I was in scarcity. I couldn't even ask for more money. I was scared to ask for more money. I'd have clients come in, I would pour my heart and soul into the session, and I would hope that they would pay me at the end of the session because I was fucking scared to ask for money. I was scared to ask for the money. I didn't believe I could. Then, I'll tell you, October 1st is 2017. Actually, I'll go to the 31st of September, 2017, almost 4 years ago. I come home, and I have 3 dogs. This is the 5th day. My dog, Da Vinci, 12 years old, did not eat. My mom tells me he's not eating. So I come home, it's late in the evening. And at the time, I wasn't even lying down in my bed. I wouldn't sleep in my bed. I turned my room into an office, even though I never used the office. I was sleeping on a fucking chair, like what you guys are sitting on now in the kitchen. I was sleeping on a chair. Just imagine that. I was literally sleeping on a chair. So I'd sleep in a chair, and My dog slept in the kitchen as well, small dogs. And I go into the kitchen and have this round dining table. And I'm looking at my dog, Da Vinci. The other two dogs I had were Mona Lisa and Picasso. They're younger. One's Min Pin, one's a Chihuahua Terrier, and then Da Vinci is also a miniature pinscher, right? And I grew up with Da Vinci. I got him in 2nd grade. And I remember the first night we brought him home, he just came and he sat on my lap. Wouldn't touch anyone because we rescue our dogs. We rescue all our animals. And he came and he sat on my lap and we just connected. Like it was just an immediate bond. And since I was in 2nd grade, that dog slept with me every single night. That dog and I love that dog. Like, can't even imagine. Like that was like my family. And I'm sitting there and I'm about to go to sleep and I look at Da Vinci and he looks at me and I realize he hasn't eaten for 5 days. It's the 5th day he hasn't eaten. And I know what that means. So I pick him up and I put him on this table and I had a bunch of chicken from where I just ate. And I brought this chicken to the table and I pet him and I'm like, hey, I just wanted him to eat, even though you shouldn't be giving the dog chicken. I'm like, just eat something. And, he licked my hand and he would go to eat it, but he couldn't eat. He wasn't hungry. And it like gave me this look and it was like, I can't eat. He just looked at me and said, I can't eat. And I was just petting him and, I was looking at him and I was just trying to cherish this night and I could barely fall asleep. And finally I fell asleep at like 5 a.m. And he fell asleep until he fell asleep. And I fell asleep at like 5 a.m. and I woke up on 7. And I pet him in the morning because he's still there. He was on the ground though. And I pet him in the morning. I pet my other dogs and I go to the bathroom and brush my teeth. I start brushing my teeth and I hear my mom crying. She starts crying really loud. So I go to the kitchen and my dad's standing there and he's looking down. I said, what happened? And he goes, your dog died. So I walk over and I'm looking on the floor and I see my dog Da Vinci lying in his piss. And I pause and I feel like this I feel like my heart's completely breaking. It's like my dog's in 2nd guard coyotes. So my parents didn't want to bury him because they didn't want to see body parts of our dog showing up. So my dad brings this bag and puts him in the bag. He's like, here, you take your dog. I'm walking with him outside to the front yard where we had the garbage cans, and I open the garbage can, and I'm looking, and I'm like, I'm going to throw away my dog, and I'm looking at my dog, and at the time, my dad's had 8 heart surgeries, and I'm thinking about how quickly life just ends. I'm thinking about my dad. My dad's 67, 68 at the time, I don't know. And I'm just thinking about my parents and how stressed they are financially, and I'm like, I need to do something. And I'm putting my dog down in this thing, and I'm looking at his face. I'm like, I'm literally throwing my dog. And I went into the shower, and I just threw up, and I was crying. I was crying my eyes out. And I was thinking, I'm like, what can I do? Like, and I hear my mom crying, and I was just heartbroken. And I stopped thinking about me. And I said, what can I do to help my parents? And I said, I'm going to have another seminar. So November 17th, October 17th, I have my next seminar. I had my 2nd ever seminar. I learned hypnosis. I started getting good at speaking. I went up to people, and you guys have no idea how hard it is to fill a room, especially if nobody knows who you are. So I'd walk up to every single person I could see. I didn't even know hypnosis. And I taught myself hypnosis in like a couple of weeks. I got really good at speaking. And all of a sudden, I show up November 17th and I have 40 people at the seminar. I somehow got the venue. I had no money for the venue. I convinced people to let me use this venue and what it took to make it happen. I had no idea how I'd make it happen, but I made it happen. Right? I just let go of everything I've done before, and I changed everything I did. I put everything I had. I sacrificed everything. I dropped out of college. I didn't care. So I'm going all in on this. And I have the 2nd seminar, and I get first couple clients. Now I'm making $350 a week. So I had nothing. Now I'm making $1,400 a month. I'm feeling pretty good about myself. I'm like, okay, things are now in an upward spiral. I had this really hard moment, and I'm like, it's not going to be in vain. I'm going to make it happen, right? And I'm feeling really incredible. And I'm making $350 a week pretty consistently. And I can't really ask for more than that. I'm having a hard time breaking that barrier. I'm stuck, right? But it's like I'd almost spend every penny I make. I could never have more than $1,000 in my bank account at one time. And I have $350 a week. Then, I'd come home. I have my pet bird, Nightwatch, my monkey, Coco, and my 2 dogs, Picasso and Mona Lisa. And I was still sleeping in the kitchen at this time. So I'm still sleeping in the kitchen. So I'm still sleeping with Picasso and Mona Lisa. Every morning I wake up, the first thing would happen, I wake up Picasso sees me wake up, he comes, he just puts his head here, he's like warmest person ever, like warmest dog ever. We just pet him, and he was so loving. And one day, my friend Jason calls me and he goes, hey, come with me to dinner. So we go to sushi, and we're sitting at sushi, and I'm ordering, and I'm wondering, I look, and it says dad. So I say, hello, and I hear my mom crying in the background again. It's the same exact cry I heard before. And my dad goes, both your dogs are dead. I said, what do you mean? And I immediately turned white. I turned pale. He goes, both your dogs are dead. They both got ran over. And he hung up. He had no idea how to tell me because he's probably feeling horrible, doesn't know how to express it, which hurt me even more because I heard how upset my dad was. I heard how upset my mom is crying. Out of nowhere, I'm doing everything I feel like I'm doing everything I can. No idea how hard I worked to even make that seminar happen to those clients. I had no idea what else I could do. And then this happens. And I excuse myself from the table. I go outside and I'm just crying. And I'm crying. I'm like, why does this keep happening? I don't understand. Why the fuck are things getting worse? My friend Jason comes out. I can't even get words. He's like, what happened? I said, just take me home. He takes me home. I get home and I hear my mom crying through the front door. And I don't want to go inside. I'm like, I can't see my mom right now. I can't see me right now. I don't want them to see me crying. And I don't want to deal with the situation. So we had just cut down a tree in my front yard. And there are logs everywhere. And I go to sit down on one of the logs and I look. And there's Picasso and Mona Lisa on the two logs. And they're dead. And I'm looking at them. I just start crying. And I sit down and I'm on my knees. And I'm apologizing and I'm kissing them and I'm petting them. And remembering it was like the night before. And they were just wagging their tail in the morning. And I'm looking at them. And I hear my mom in the background. And they're crying. I even hear my dad crying. And I'm looking at them and I can't break past this $350 a week. And I'm crying and I'm crying. And finally I asked myself, what can I do? What can I do to help my parents? What can I do? I can't bring my dogs back. I don't know what's going on, but I need to do something. And the most I'd ever made in my life was $350 in a week. And I said, I need to do something. I need to do something for them. I need to do something to help other people because if anyone's experiencing pain like this, I'm going to help them. And I said, in order to help them, I have to help myself right now. So I stood up, I gave my dogs a kiss, I pet them. And I remembered an interview. Tony Robbins, he goes, I had a 6-month waiting list. I charged people $1,000 a session and I would get rid of any fear or phobia they had. And I'm like, I can easily do that. I can easily do that. I've been doing that. That's what I've been doing to my clients. I can get rid of any fear or phobia. I'm one of the best hypnotists in the world. I can do it. So I went into the house. I ignored my parents and I put on the only suit I owned. And it was short on me. And I walked out and I had a quarter tank left on my gas tank. And I remember the first place I went to is called Crave Cafe. It's like 8 p.m. And I walk in there and I'm trying not to be in tears. My eyes are red. I have snot coming out. Obviously, that's not going to get someone to come change their life. And after about 5 or 6 hours of doing it, I'm feeling drained. I feel like I just want to go home. I want to sleep. It was like this voice in my head. And it said, listen, I know how scared you are. I don't know how much this hurts. You're going to fucking make it. And I said that to myself. I said, I don't care how I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it happen. And I remember I was in my car and I was crying. And I had all these napkins from Chipotle. I was just blowing my nose and wiping my tears. And finally I get out of my car and I said, I'm going to go get clients right now. And I was outside of Chipotle, ironically. And it was like 7 a.m. It's Panera Bread. And there are all these actors outside in the back. And they're just practicing. It's like 40 actors. They had like this meetup in the morning. And I walk up to them and I go, hey, can I get everybody's attention? Can I get everybody's attention, please? Everyone here is an actor, yeah? Like, yeah. I'm like, look, can I get a volunteer? Whoever you are, you're about to get a $1,000 session for free. And they said, okay. So they came up and I just hypnotized them. And I said, every time they touch their fingers, they're happy. Every time they touch these fingers, they cry. And I just did this whole show. Everyone's like, whoa, we want that. I'm like, great, it's $1,000. Who here thinks that they could easily get the role they want for $1,000 if they do this? And people were like, I'm about it. And I got like 15 or 16, maybe 18. I don't remember the exact number. I got a shit ton of clients. Out of nowhere, I just got $1,000. All these people paying me. And then I realized it's possible. And I didn't go home until I got 40 clients. Paid me $1,000. I came home, I gave it to my parents. And what changed for me is I went from thinking about myself, something for somebody else. Think about someone right now in your life that you know you could benefit if you just changed a little bit. If you made a little bit more money, who would you help? How would it help you? How would it help your family, your friends, your kids? Think about that for a moment. And as soon as I changed that, all of a sudden, my career was never the same. My account grew exponentially. I've never been broke since then. I've gone broke in the sense that, yeah, money has completely gone empty in my bank account. I spent all the money in my account, but I immediately make it back. I was able to completely change that. And this is what's changed for me. All of a sudden, now I can buy whatever cars I want. I live the life I want. I bought my dad. Imagine this. When this first happened, I bought my dad a Porsche. Then I bought him the first Corvette C8 in California. I had to pay $30 over sticker for it. I bought my mom brand new 2020 Jeep, right? Now, but then I bought my dad a second Corvette. I bought them a house. I bought myself like 7 of my dream cars. I lived in a mansion. Now I live in an even nicer mansion, right? And I'm not saying this is like, oh, look at all the material, but it grows. That was the moment my life changed because my psychology changed. I stopped holding on to the fear that I can't do it, the fear that I'm not enough, the fear that I don't know how. Instead, I trusted what I do. I trusted myself. And I realized that as long as I take action, as long as I do it without any fear, I'll make it happen. So right now, think about whatever you're scared of. Think about whatever you're scared of financially. Think about whatever you're scared of internally. And write it down. And this is what I want you to get from that. Can I get a napkin? Someone? I want you to get this. That fear you just wrote down. One thought, one belief away from living life the way you want. You're one belief away, one thought, thank you, from literally living life the way you want. I'll wash my hands, don't worry. Right, so you think about that and you go, I'm one thought away, one fear away from getting where I want to go. So what has been the biggest transformation in my life? I'll tell you this. And other people may not agree with me, but this has been the biggest thing I've seen for myself and over 10,000 clients, paying clients. This is what I've noticed. When you change your mindset, ask yourself change. The way you look at the world changes. Your fears start to disappear. The more confidence you have, the less you let your fear impact you. You stop living in scarcity and you start living in abundance. If everyone here, doesn't matter who it is in your family, think about the person you love the most. If they needed you to make an extra $30,000 or $40,000 in the next 30 days, doesn't matter how, would you find a way if your life depended on it? Raise your hand if you find a way. The entire room would raise their hand. Doesn't mean that you can't do it. It means that you haven't changed your mindset or given yourself enough of a reason to make it happen. You haven't invested in the idea that you can go for it, but in order to do that, you have to let go of whatever you're holding to. Now, think about this. An eagle, right? Before it learns how to fly, what happens? Exactly. They toss out their young. So they'll be at the top of a nest somewhere on a cliff or a mountain or a high tree, and they'll take their young and they'll throw them. And they'll flap their wings and flap their wings and flap their wings. And right before they hit the ground, they get saved and they go back to the top. And then again, they throw them down and they're falling. They feel stuck. They're feeling anxious. They're feeling scared. And then they get saved right before they hit the ground. And then finally, the eagle gets thrown off, flaps its wings, and it flies. And it flies. So what goes down must come up. Your bank account sometimes needs to go down in order to come back up. A tree has to stop being a tree, has to stop being a seed. A seed has to stop being a seed before it can become a tree. Now, the reason I bring this up to you is because a lot of you in your life have been stuck holding on to something that you can easily let go of. That fear you wrote down, the scarcity, the lack of ability to move forward. So I'm going to do two things for you. Go of that fear and tap into that emotion that's going to help you take action. And the second thing is I'm going to present you guys with an opportunity, yes?
Yes.
That will allow you to make a change here permanently. And I'm going to take you by the hand and I'm going to show you how to do that. So everyone stand up. Let's get in a peak state. Let's go. Stand up. Are we ready? Yes. Who wants to make more money? Say yes. Yes. Say yes. 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 Are you ready to let go of that fucking piece of shit food, this shitty mindset, and actually attract the life of your dreams? Say yes. 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 I'm going to count to 3. When I do, I want you to get in a peak state. But this time, think about all the money you're going to attract in your life, all the people that you're going to help, and all the things that you're going to start doing differently. How you're going to sacrifice whatever the fuck you used to be for whatever you are right now. 1, 2, 3, let's go! Let's go! Woo! 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 Let's go! Let's fucking go! Yeah! Oh, have a seat. Have a seat. So hear the opportunity closely, because I promise you this opportunity will change your life. I have a program. It's called the Breakthrough Accelerator. The job of this program is to accelerate breakthroughs. Breakthroughs are different perspectives in mindset, different beliefs, different levels of confidence. Some of you have probably had a shit ton of breakthroughs already. Except the catch is, you're seeing coaching twice a week. I'm there at least once a week. I bring all kinds of guest speakers, top salespeople in the world, top negotiators, body language experts. You get to watch all the recordings, and you get to work with me for 4 months. If you want to work with me more after, that's fine. But it's twice a week, 4 months of coaching, and I'm going to show you how to go from whatever that mindset is, sacrifice that version of you, to the best version of you. Now, it specializes in 3 areas: your wealth, your health, because it's the point of having all the relationships you want and the money you want if you can't be healthy, right? And your health, obviously. So that dream body you wanted, instead of starting and then stopping, you go for it. That money that you've been wanting to attract in your life, manifest in your life, create your life, abundance. I'm going to give you the skills to do it. I'll teach you how to sell. I'll teach you how to negotiate, teach you how to talk to people that you should talk to. And on top of it, you'll have access to a network of people who can introduce you to people. It's a mastermind. Those of you who know what a mastermind is, pretty much an exclusive club of very, very successful people. And all of them become your friends. They become your network. Even the people who are just starting off who aren't successful will eventually get to that level. So everyone's helping everybody. And the last thing is, I'm literally rewiring your brain. So it's not just let me coach you and you don't get results. You can go online right now and get all the coaching you want. I'm going to literally hypnotize you. I am the best hypnotist in the world. That is why I'm 23 years old and I'm up on this stage. That is why I'm 23 years old and I'm going to change your life. You have my guarantee. Everyone can be hypnotized. Everyone will be hypnotized. Every perspective will change. You will instantly gain confidence. You will instantly be motivated. You will instantly transform your life. Now, this is the catch. It requires a commitment. Some of you might be like, oh my God, that's a lot. For some, it might, and even if it is, we're willing to work with you. We're willing to make something happen. But for 4 months, it's $2,500 a month. It's $10,000. How many of you in the room right now are interested in that? Just raise your hand up high. It's 10,000. Okay, so if you're interested, raise your hand up high. Okay, hand up. So I'll meet you outside. I'll meet all of you guys outside. Go there, to there. Point, guys, raise your hand over there. So you guys have clear instructions of where to go. Now, some of you are saying, "Oh my God, fuck, I want this, but 10,000? I can't afford 10,000." Maybe you can't afford it the first month, but you sure as hell be able to afford it the second month. So you might be saying, "Well, what does that look like?" Well, 2,500 payment plan, 2,500 a month, 2,500, 2,500, 2,500. You're telling me you think you can't make one sale for 5 or 10K? It's ridiculous. It's not even a thought. Now, some of you might be like, I want this, but I just can't afford it, or I might be struggling financially. If that's you, raise your hand. Be honest. Okay. So if you're not sure about how to make it work financially, raise your hand. It's okay. Don't be embarrassed. Raise your hand up high. Stand up. Stand up. This is you. Stand up. I will meet you outside as well. We're going to work it out. Okay? Raise your hand. Someone who's willing to help there. Okay? Follow them. Follow them. Guys, give them a round of applause. They're making a change. Now, some people in the room, but quickly, guys, let's go quickly. Now, some people in the room might be asking themselves, well, yeah, I get it, but what am I going to really get out of it? Right? I have like skeptical people. Like, I'm not really sure. I get what you're saying, but what am I going to learn from that? What am I going to get from that? I'll tell you specifically what you can get from that. You're going to learn, one, how to change your mindset. You're going to have the tools to do it. Kind of like what we learned today. Like, who here thinks what we learned today has already been beneficial? Raise your hand. Okay. So imagine learning that, but at the highest level, 1, 2, you've never been hypnotized before. I'm going to do it for you today. So regardless, you're going to enjoy that. But if any of you guys are kind of on the fence, you're not sure, you just have some questions, because there are probably a lot of you that have some questions and you're interested because you know it could change your life, but maybe you're not sure how it might apply to you, just raise your hand really quick. Okay, so you're on the fence, so just stand up. I'll meet you outside as well. I'll answer some questions for you. If anyone else has any questions, let me know. For the rest of you who don't have questions, nobody else has questions. Not even 1, 2 more people? You sure? Nobody? Good. So what you're going to find a partner now, and I want you guys to write down what the future version of you looks like versus what the present version of you looks like. Okay? So what was that version of me that came here look like? What am I going to do different? What choices am I going to make differently? What feelings are going to be different? What's going to be different? Does this make sense? And you're going to share with your partner. Once you've shared with one partner, switch to a second partner. By then we'll be back, but I want you guys to see different perspectives. And you'll see that there's common traits amongst the people you share with. And you might even get some good ideas from others, because sometimes we get in our own head, and when we communicate and connect, that's when we really elevate. Does that make sense to everybody? Yes. Give yourselves a round of applause. Good job. Back 5 minutes. Go ahead and find your partner, and I'll see you guys shortly, all right? Shortly, all right? you guys. And at the same time, I can also be really authoritative and firm because that's what a leader in abundance does. They're able to connect with 2 to 3 times more oxytocin. I want to bring out that leadership inside of you by allowing you to tap into those states. Because when you can be vulnerable, you're actually stronger. You look at Lion King, what a brilliant example. Lion King. You have Scar and you have Mufasa. Scar is this lion that's in scarcity, selfish, focuses on himself, and he ruins the jungle when he's in charge. And then you have Mufasa, and when he's in charge, the jungle is beautiful, and he cares about everybody, and he's empathetic, right? And he's vulnerable. That's the difference in leadership. And I want to bring out the Mufasa inside of you, even if you never had it. And the way to do that is to allow yourself to be vulnerable, especially around other men. Because I don't know if you guys feel this way, but at least for me, I think it's actually one of the manliest things you could do to be vulnerable. I actually think it's one of the most masculine things you could do to be vulnerable. And it's not that someone here isn't masculine or manly, it's just that you have never had the opportunity. So now you have an opportunity to do so. You sit down, you share, and you just be real. Share your insecurities, share what's stopping you. If you feel disconnected, you feel whatever, be honest. Share your vulnerability. And use that to leverage the fact that you can go to the next level. Does that make sense to everybody? So find a group. Let's do 4 people. If someone obviously is an outcast, bring them into the group. I don't want anyone to be like, I don't have a group. If you see someone who's shy, invite them into the group, right? Let's make this a very friendly, safe environment. And I'm going to give you guys 25 minutes to do this. If someone's joining late, just invite them. Okay? All right. Let's go.